Okay, so if you're in charge of any kind of commercial interior, you know the drill, right? The pressure is always on to refresh spaces faster, with way less disruption, and with results that actually last. In this explainer, we're going to break down exactly how modern wall graphics are engineered to solve that very problem.
So how do you get all three? How do you get fast, durable, and disruption-free? I mean, that's the million-dollar question for every facilities and design team out there. Well, today, we're going to unpack a solution that's been engineered to do precisely that.
Think of this as your personal playbook. First, we'll tackle the core challenge everyone's facing. Then, we'll introduce the modern solution and give you an expert framework for how to evaluate it. After that, we'll see it in action across a few key industries, and we'll wrap up with the exact questions you need to be asking any provider. All right, let's dive in.
You know, the demand for quicker turnarounds, it just never stops. It doesn't matter if it's a rebrand, a new tenant moving in, or just a much-needed refresh. The expectation is always the same. Make it look amazing, make it happen on time, and for goodness sakes, don't shut down our operations to do it.
And this really gets to the heart of the problem. On one side, you've got the classic frustrations of things like vinyl and wallpaper, right? The seams that always seem to peel, the long downtime for installation, and, oh man, the absolute nightmare of tearing it all down later. But on the other side, you've got a modern approach that promises a totally seamless finish, super fast installs, and an incredibly simple paint-over-ready end of life.
So what's the answer to all these old-school problems? Well, it's a technology called direct-to-wall printing.
Okay, so what is that exactly? Put simply, it's a system that prints incredible, high-resolution artwork directly onto the wall. The key words there are photoreal and high-resolution, so the quality is just stunning. But here's the real game changer. It's totally seam-free. It feels completely integrated into the architecture, like it was always meant to be there, not just something stuck on top.
So let's talk about what this really means for you operationally. First up, speed. We're talking installation in under 5 hours, practically overnight. Second, durability. The cured finish is built to handle the scuffs and cleaning of a busy commercial space. Third, life cycle efficiency. When you're ready for a change, you just paint over it. No costly tear-outs. And finally, flexibility. It works on almost anything: drywall, concrete block, CMU, even brick.
All right, now this is the heart of it. This is where we go from just knowing what it is to understanding how to evaluate it like a true expert. Anyone can try to sell you a wall graphic, but we've built a framework so you can benchmark any solution like a seasoned pro.
First things first, performance and durability. You have to ask, is the image quality really, truly photorealistic when you blow it up on a giant wall? Or are you going to see those ugly lines, that banding? How does it hold up to actual real-world wear and tear? And this is crucial, especially in healthcare. Can your maintenance team clean it with their standard products? And finally, will it fade in a sunny lobby? These are the absolute non-negotiables.
Okay, next up is benchmark 2, logistics and life cycle. This is where you have to think beyond day one, right? What's the total on-site time, including cure time? Can they actually do it without disrupting your tenants with noise or odors? What's the real process to reset that wall in 3 years? And this one's huge. Are you actually reducing waste? Are you avoiding sending tons of PVC and sticky liners to the landfill?
So when you lay it all out and compare these options using our expert framework, the picture becomes incredibly clear. With direct-to-wall, we're talking installation in hours, not days or weeks. The durability is way higher because there are no seams that can fail. The end of life is a simple paint-over, not a massive repair job. And if you're rolling this out to multiple locations, its scalability is just a massive advantage. Okay, so the theory is solid, but what does this look like in the real world? Let's make this really tangible and see how this solution works for your specific industry. We're going to look at 3 key sectors. Let's kick things off with one of the toughest environments out there, healthcare. The priorities here are, as you know, totally unique and absolutely non-negotiable. I mean, think about it. In a hospital, a wall finish has to be cleanable with standard hospital disinfectants, period, full stop. The installations have to happen with zero impact on patients, which makes overnight and weekend work essential. Plus, by printing wayfinding right onto the walls, you can clean up those cluttered corridors and make it way less stressful for patients and their families to find their way around.
All right, let's pivot to the corporate world. Here, it's all about 2 things, brand and agility.
For any big brand, consistency is absolutely everything, right? You need to know that your brand's specific shade of blue is going to be perfect in the New York office, the London office, and the Tokyo office. When teams move around or restack, you need to update the space branding literally overnight. And for landlords, it's about staging a space to get it on the market incredibly fast to land that next tenant.
And for our last example, let's talk about education. Whether it's K through 12 or a university, these places are all about high traffic and constant change.
So it's priority number one in a school: durability. You need something that can stand up to thousands of backpacks, scuffs, and, well, kids being kids, day in and day out. But beyond that, think about the flexibility. Being able to easily update graphics for a new school year or for the football season is a huge plus. You can even integrate safety cues, like for fire drills or lab safety, right into the design.
Okay, so we've covered the why and the how. Now I want to leave you with something you can actually use. Think of this as your due diligence checklist. These are the exact questions you need to ask any provider to make sure you're getting what you pay for. First question, and it's a big one. Don't just take their word on durability. You need to ask, what specific abrasion and cleanability testing do you have that proves this will hold up in our environment? You want to see the data. This question cuts right through the sales pitch. Next up, the all-important logistics question. How do you manage odor, dust, and noise during an installation in an occupied building? Because look, an amazing graphic is totally useless if the installation process shuts down your business or disrupts everyone who works there. A pro will have a clear plan for this. This next one is all about the long game, the total cost of ownership. You have to ask, is the finish really paint over ready? And what is the exact process and timeline to reset a wall? Knowing this up front can save you a ton of time and money down the road when it's time for the next refresh. And finally, the ultimate quality control question. Do you offer on-wall test prints so we can validate colors against our brand standards before you do the whole wall? For any project where brand is critical, this is an absolute must. It's the only way to see how the colors look on your wall with your lighting and eliminate any surprises. So, at the end of the day, it all comes down to this simple idea. The best design isn't just about how a space looks the day it's finished. It's about how it performs, how it lives, and how it adapts over its entire life cycle. When you can align that big design ambition with the day-to-day reality of operations, well, that's when you've truly nailed it.